Sometimes people who are insecure, I'm going to make this statement. Let me get to the full screen on this. Insecure people, most of the time, will always be cheated on. What up, YouTube family and folks? This is Kevin's Perspective, the perspective that keeps on giving. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty. You see the title. We're going to do something a little bit different, man. I'm going to react to a live. We had a live stream on the Art of CEO Experience. Great show. We had one the other night, and I'm going to do a reaction to it to a certain degree because we talked about why men cheat. That was the question. That was the question and the topic. I'm gonna leave a link in the description box down below so y'all can check that out. Watch the full video. What we're gonna do is, kind of go through it, skim through it. I'm not gonna go through the whole live. Anyway, it's an hour or something. Like, I'm not going through all that, but it's some good stuff in there that I want to expound on and kind of go over and kind of, pinpoint here and there different spots and different dialogue that's within it. So we're gonna go check it out. Let's start here. There's not gonna be too many edits and anything like that. We just gonna go straight into it. I'm just gonna be talking as fluid as I can anyway. So let's get into it.
Like, sadly enough, though, most people don't actually talk about the terms of their relationship. They just get together, and then a lot of people just try to figure it out as they go along. But you got to have rules, man. It ain't cheating if you ain't established no rules. Like, if you establish that, we're going to be exclusive, then now we walk the parameters of, all right, you mess with somebody else, now that's cheating. And then when I say, like, some people speak to levels, like, some people say cheating ain't just intercourse neither. Some people say cheating is that time. Some people say cheating is that those intimate conversations and all that other stuff like that. Like, so cheating, I mean, there's a variety or levels to what people call cheating.
I kind of want to pause it right there, man, and kind of go over, like, what is cheating? Before we even get into anything else in this video, what is cheating? So, in my opinion, cheating is when you try to get something outside of the parameters that you and your partner agree to. Like, well, before even getting into defining cheating, you first have to define intimacy, because cheating is really attached to intimacy. What do you define to be intimacy in your relationship? That has to be established. There has to be a definition for what both of you agree on as far as what intimacy is. Intimacy is what you deem to be the connection between you and your partner. What or how do you and your partner connect? And when someone goes outside of the relationship to find a connection or to have a connection that you deem, or both of y'all deem, to only be dedicated to you or only be dedicated to that person, then you're cheating. You are cheating. Cheating can really, like what KJ was saying in the video, is levels to it, because it really just depends on what you define intimacy to be. So intimacy doesn't really have to be, it can be sex. Intimacy can be conversation or deep conversation, if that's what y'all deem intimacy to be. It can be an activity, like y'all, going to the gym. Y'all always go to the gym together. And it's been established that that's dedicated for both of y'all. And then that person goes to the gym with someone else. And because you deem that dedication and what that establishment to be as y'all's time of intimacy, that's how y'all connect. That's how y'all are connecting with each other. So they go outside of the relationship with that, you're going to be jealous. You're going to be mad. You're going to be like, yo, they cheating on me. Even when we talk about it in the live, it goes into, what do you establish to be monogamy? Whether you establish to be anything in your relationship, you have to have the rules set to be able to say that we cheating on the rules. Got to be rules set. There has to be definitions. There has to be communication. You have to establish something to where both of you can say that this is the standard that we're going by. and anything outside of that standard will be seen as abnormal and out of place. So, going into cheating, yes, there is levels. I agree with KJ 100% on that. There is different phases. There's different places as far as where you can go with cheating.
But hold
Like,
on.
why would you?
The thing. That wasn't the thing, though. The whole thing, you was part of the nature. You get what I'm saying? Like you said, I was going to do all of this. And you got into the commitment on the thing that, yo, this is what it is.
With the intention, yeah.
Right. So it's like, oh, you pulled the rug. You pulled the rug from underneath me. So I still got to honor this? Some people look at other person like, yo, they wrong. They wrong. How wrong is the person before somebody else can look at the other person and say, yo, you were wrong? You know what I mean? Like, yo, you mad at them for doing what they did, but you know how wrong you was? I done talk to plenty of females, they get mad at they dude for cheating, right? Right? I was like, yo, was y'all messing around? Like, nah, I ain't messing with him a minute. I ain't trusting, I ain't been doing that. So what you expect to a certain degree, how much honor you really gonna expect him? Who you think you are? How much honor? You know what I mean? Like you ain't like a queen can't be a king. I don't care how much you want to be, you know, HNIC.
Well, here's the thing about it. She was already. But here's the thing about it. If you're not even honoring, if you're not honoring him in what he needs in the relationship, then you're outside of the commitment anyway.
Yeah.
So the only thing he did was just physically step out. But you already stepped out.
Yeah.
So either way, like, yeah, it only looks bad because you can see it. Like it's tangible. Like you can see that they stepped out, cheated or whatever, but nobody ever takes into account the mental and emotional and spiritual step out that led up to the physical. Yeah, I don't know if tangible was the word I was supposed to use right there, but I used it anyway. It sounded good. So yeah, that's pretty much what that was. Like how you lead up to how things lead up to, you know, the act of cheating sometimes. It happens. Men don't just cheat just because men can cheat. Some do, but most of them don't. Be honest, like most of them when they get into a committed and obligated, like they made the decision to be married. They made the decision to say, I'm committed to a serious relationship. Then it's not really cheating isn't really on his mind at that time, but something can influence it. I'm just being honest. But some men do. Like some men go into it already ready to cheat. They ain't took their basketball shorts off yet. They already ready for the game. But we're gonna get more into that in a little bit later because I got some comments on that too. Leave your comments down below on whatever you agree with or disagree with. Please let me know. Let's talk about it. About you.
Yeah, about you. This be you all the way.
But here's the thing about it though. Here's part of the reason why a lot of guys cheat. Is because they go into the entire situation not being them. So then they go into it as a facade, and then she ends up liking the facade, and now he's trapped.
Oh yeah, the facade.
So it's like, okay, now it's like, okay, how do I maneuver in and out of this now? He's never really himself in the relationship. Then he ends up stepping out and meeting somebody who he feels more free with. All right, so let me explain what I mean by being more free with. Being more free with is somebody who can talk to you. He ends up having better conversations with them. He has better sex with them. He's able to have the sex that he wants. He feels free in the bedroom. He has more energy around him. Like he feels as though he can be more of who he is around this other woman. He has conversations with her he doesn't even have with his wife. He does things with her he doesn't even do with his wife at all. He feels free. Now there's an illusion to that freedom, of course, but he feels as though he can be more of himself. He feels as though that the other woman is more interested in him being himself. And then with that, he builds a prison in his home. because he can't be himself, because he came into it fake. He came into it being a part of who he is, or being what he thinks she likes. So she likes it so much, she falls in love with it. But yeah, he never gets out of being that facade. And he becomes a caricature of himself in his own relationship, in his own marriage. And she loves it with no idea that he's a caricature. But he knows it. So he puts himself into this prison, and he's stuck. And he feels as though he can't really be himself completely around his wife, because then she's going to question, where is this person coming from? Who is this guy? What are you talking about? What you mean you want to do this in the bedroom? What do you mean? Like, where's all this stuff coming from? But that's actually who he was. And it's crazy because a lot of men are in that situation. A lot of men are really stuck in their rooms trying to figure out how they want to tell their wives about something they like that they never told their wives before. Literally. Like, thinking about it, thinking about it. At work, thinking about, yo, how can I tell my wife that I like something that she thinks I don't even care about? Because it's a part of who he is. It's a shame. It happens all the time. And another part of that prison is because she's never interested in anything you do. Anything you were interested in, she is never interested in at all. And you know it. You've been known it because you told yourself that you don't care. You told yourself that you like playing video games. You like, whatever hobbies and interests that you're into. You told yourself, like, she don't have to like everything I like. So it doesn't matter until it matters. After a while, it matters. Because you know that your interests and your hobbies are a part of your identity. If women don't hear anything else, I want women to hear this. A man's interests and hobbies are a part of who he is. So if you don't like it, then you don't like his identity, because it's going to be part of his personality. That's who he is. It might be a part of his passion. It can be a part of his purpose. But what he likes, no matter how minute you may think it is a part of who he is. So if you don't like it, somebody else going to like it. And he going to end up meeting that person that likes it. That's why he might end up liking to be around his friends more than he likes being around his woman, because his friends they have more they're more interested in what he's interested in. He likes being around them more. That's it. You say you don't care, you're lying. Guys, you are lying when you say you don't care that your woman don't like what you like. You are lying. But you feel as though it doesn't matter and that it shouldn't matter. But it matters. It really does matter. The majority of the time when a man cheats is usually with somebody who likes what he likes. That's it. A lot of times when he's having an affair and stuff like that, it's usually with a woman who is into something he's into. He likes, certain books. He wants to talk to her about certain topics. He wants to have, he wants to work on do certain activities, go to the gym, go to zip lining, whatever the case is. He wants to do certain things that he know his woman don't care about. And it's a grave mistake to a woman to not care about your man's interests. It is a grave mistake. You can think that it ain't that serious to him. You could think that, playing them video games, it ain't that serious. You could think him going to the gym or him washing his car or doing his woodwork in the garage, it ain't that serious. You can think that if you want to, but it is. It might not seem serious to him, but it is. And it's a mistake to think that it's not that serious, so you just play it off as if it doesn't matter. It matters. Trust me, it's going to happen. It's going to matter down the line. You better get on board and see what he likes, because if you don't, somebody else will. His interests will always be important to him. That's just the truth. But let's get down even more into the nitty gritty, because we got some more stuff to talk about. There's a lot that's in this live. I want y'all to go check out the live. The link is in the description box. Go watch the full episode. But we just breaking down little bit by little bit. I'm not going through all of it. But I am going to certain points that I wanted to expound on, like I said earlier in the video. I don't know why I'm saying that again, but I'm saying it again. Let's get back down to it.
So to bring it back around, because we're talking about why people cheat. Let me ask y'all a question. Do you think someone can push you to cheat?
Man, I'm watching people cheat on. Listen.
I think someone can create an environment for you to.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, I believe all that.
And the reason why I say it's the same thing, because if you see the environment, all you're going to do is then now justify the behavior. Which would be the same thing now. It's like, okay, well, now the environment there, now you're just going to justify your actions now. So technically it's like the same thing.
I mean, all right, let me stop right there, because it is true. I agree with KJ on that. You know, it kind of justifies your actions. I feel as though I want to rephrase what I said a little bit. I feel as though someone can influence or push you to have the thought to cheat, not necessarily push you into the act of cheating. I want to clear that up. I think the act of cheating is it's up to the person to act on their thoughts. That's on them. That's their choice. That's whatever they got, you know. But I do believe that someone can influence you to think about cheating. They can plant an idea in your mind to cheat. They can plant the thought in your mind to cheat. I do believe that. Here's the reason why I believe that. Say, for example, you are, as a guy, you with your woman, you all sitting on the couch, y'all watching Netflix. She might be on her Instagram or something like that, whatever, right? And a beautiful woman comes up, like pops up either on the screen or on her phone or whatever, and you're not even thinking about it. You're just watching the show. But she will point out how beautiful she is. She'll start talking about how her booty look, talk about how her hair looks, talk about her makeup. She might see somebody on Instagram that she liked the picture. She's showing you the picture of she in her bikini. How does this look? And how do you think of her? What do you think? Then all of this is going on because she's probably insecure. That we're going to get to that in a second. All of this is going on, and she's pretty much putting in your mind the thought of how you think about the girl. It's like you didn't think about this girl at all, but now you are. Now you're thinking about how her booty looks. Now you're thinking about how beautiful she is. Now you're thinking about, you know, what that Instagram page look like, which may cause you to be like, you know what? Let me go look it up. Let me go look at her Instagram page. Let me go see what she got going on. How does she dress? Like, what is all this? Now you have a thought. Now you had a thought that you didn't have before. So you could have been completely fine watching the show, and now you have another woman that's in your thought process that you might be attracted to. But this goes into the insecure part, because insecure people, not just insecure women or men, insecure people in general, always seem to compare themselves to other people. So what happens sometimes is that they're comparing themselves to someone else in front of you, which makes you think about someone else instead of them. They start to do certain things to get validation because they're comparing themselves to try to get validation. They might say, hey, what do you think of her? What do you think of her in comparison to me? What if I wore that? What if I looked like that? What if I did this, that, and the third? Trying to get validation from him when all you're really doing is making him think of her. You're bringing him around your friends to try to get validation from your friends about how they feel about him, when in actuality, sometimes you might just be introducing him to more women. It happens. That's what happens. You think that you have this reverse psychology thing going, I guess, to put women in his face in hopes that he looks over every woman to only see you, which makes you feel good. But that backfires sometimes. No, it backfires a lot of times, because all it does is just puts more options in his face. just out of the sake of your validation. Sometimes people who are insecure, I'm going to make this statement. Let me get to the full screen on this. Insecure people, most of the time, will always be cheated on. It is a given. Because insecure people do not know how much they contribute to someone else cheating or contribute to someone else's thought of cheating. The more you're insecure, the more likely you're going to get cheated on. And I'm just talking about in general. I'm not just talking about men or women. In general, if you are insecure, more than likely you're going to get cheated on. It's not about losing someone's attraction towards you. It's about how you contribute to their thought process and mentality of cheating. Because you put factors in their face without even realizing it. It's a fact. Well, I ain't gonna say it's a fact. It can be true. It can be very possible. It can be very probable. I feel like I'm rambling. Let's get back to the video.
Like, you would cheat because any man or any woman would cheat just simply because they made the choice to cheat. And it's just that simple. Like, we can use many excuses of you might have felt betrayed or he cheated first or whatever may have you. But if you're a person who you really hold yourself to that principle of I'm not going to cheat, then you won't cheat. So I say, I really, at the end of the day, I mean, it's just you making the decision whether you're going to cheat or not.
But I do think that you could have variables that would make somebody cheat, though.
Yeah, I think it can be things that can help motivate you.
It's like if you, I don't think people get a job intending to quit. But the job can make you and push you to quit, or somebody it can push you to get a part-time job.
But cheating is not necessarily quitting, though.
No, I can push you.
No, they do. These cats get jobs knowing they ain't about to stay no longer than a year.
Yeah.
I didn't know you about to cheat. You didn't I gonna cheat until a year later. Come on, they do know. They already know they gonna leave.
Yeah, they do that too. That's true. It's true.
No, I ain't giving nobody no credit. If I see it's they already cheating. They going there. I'm trying to tell you from day one.
And that's absolutely true, man. I mean, people do go into it with the intention of, well, let me reverse that. People do go into a relationship with the intention of not being in a relationship that long. They make a commitment to not even be in it that long. Like, they already know they want to move on. I think that people who go into relationships already intending on not being in it that long are people who usually never intended to be in a relationship to begin with. You know, sometimes people just fall into a relationship and now they just together. It happens all the time. Yo, I never made a commitment, but we boyfriend and girlfriend. We've been together. We've been having sex. We've been doing all this other stuff, but we kind of just fell into it because we always together and we friends and we do stuff together, and we kind of just said, hey, I guess we boyfriend and girlfriend now. I guess that's what we doing. So some people just fall into relationships, and a lot of times there's cheating in those relationships because nobody really ever made a commitment anyway. Really, there's a difference between someone who falls into a relationship and someone who actually makes a commitment, like a marriage. Like, you cheat in a marriage, like, completely. Like, it's, you know, because you've already made the conscious decision in front of everybody that this is what your commitment was going to be. You've made that decision. You made that choice. You know for a fact that this is a committed relationship. You didn't fall into a marriage. That's not how that happened. So I think people don't go into a marriage with the intention of cheating because they already know that this is a committed relationship. This is something I'm trying to work in. Even if they went into it with the intention of quitting and getting divorced, I don't think, from the context of us talking about cheating, people don't get married with the intention to cheat. Now, in a relationship or just dating, even so, I don't think people go into it with the intention to cheat, but they may feel as though we're not really in a relationship, no way. We kind of just did this. We kind of just ended up here. This where we are is where we are. So I can see how, you know, and we kind of went into I brought up the quitting part. I don't know why I brought that up really, but it was into the analogy. Like, people do go into relationships and make commitments in relationships already knowing they're not going to be in that relationship that long because they're kind of just using it as a distraction. They might be using it as a placeholder. They might be figuring out what they want to do with their life. One thing you don't want to make a commitment to is someone who's trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. You don't want to make a commitment to that person because you don't know if you're in their future. If they don't know what they're doing with their life, they're still trying to figure out where they want to work. They're trying to figure out what they want to do, who they want to be, where they want to live, who they want to be around. They're trying to figure their life out. Do not commit to that person ever, because you set yourself up for failure. Because when stuff starts to change, you might not be a part of that change. You might not be a part of that future. You might not be a part of the plan. So that's when people start to say, well, this person changed and everything changed. And it's like, really, it's not that someone changed. It's just that they finally figured out what they wanted to do. Sometimes that's how it happens. But let's get back into the live video.
So let's bring it back around. I know when we get to talking, we get super deep.
So I ain't forgot nothing.
And we be expounding on a lot different, but I want to shallow the waters out for the shallow listeners. So since the question is why cheat, let's talk about these gender things. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about men first, because men are the leaders and what are some things that y'all think that would actually like literally make a man decide to cheat on his woman?
I think we named a couple of them already. Going into it in a facade, not being himself.
Okay.
That's gonna make him step out. Eventually, you're gonna step out. If you can't even be yourself and you're in a prison, you're gonna try to break out. You try to break out. Here's the thing about it: you trying to break out the room and end up out the house.
Yeah,
that's how bad you want to get out of it.
So let me ask you a question about the facade. Is the facade? Because in my opinion, I think it can go both ways. Could the facade be pulled by that man who pulled the facade over himself?
Yeah.
And then also sometimes it could be the facade pulled by the woman.
That's where it starts.
Cool.
It starts with himself.
I agree.
I think another reason why men cheat is because there's always women available to cheat with them.
Agree. Oh, so it's like that saying that they always say. How they used to say it? Man is only as faithful as his options.
Yeah, I heard that before. Yeah. Yeah, we came in with that evil laugh, KJ with that evil laugh, but yeah, it's not even really about options though. Because when I made that statement about women who's willing to cheat with them, what a lot of women don't want to admit, because they know their homegirl do it, they know their sister do it, they know their cousin do it, they know co-workers that do it. There is so many women who are willing to help a man cheat. Point blank, period. There's a lot of women who really will help and be willing participants in the team sport of helping him cheat. Sometimes cheating is a team sport. It's crazy because the wife or the girlfriend may be trying to figure out if he's cheating or not and can't catch him at all. They can't catch him. They can't find nothing. They know something's going on without realizing that it's not just him that she's up against. She's up against a team. It might be her. It might be his homeboy. It might be her homegirl. It might be a whole team of people that she's up against. Because cheaters aren't smart cheaters. A lot of times cheaters aren't smart cheaters. Some of them are good. Most of them are bad. Most cheaters are not smart cheaters. They don't just do this on their own. There's usually somebody who's helping them do it. And a lot of times it be the side chick. In a man's perspective, it'd be the side chick. Because men aren't that smart with cheating. A lot of times we not. So it'd be willing participants from her, willing participation from her. She makes it easy for him. She will set up schedules for him. She will figure out where he can go. She can figure out what time they can text. She'll figure whatever she needs to figure out to help him cheat. It happens all the time. Funny thing about it is that when they get caught, she may say, I didn't know he was married. I didn't know he had you lying out your teeth. I can understand now when the girlfriend or the guy, you know, depending on who's cheating, fights. They go and fight like the person or the side chick or the side piece. They go and fight them. They're like, yo, why are you fighting them? Like, you need to be fighting your man. Like, he the one that made the choice. But, you know, a lot of times they know that you helped him do it. Oh, you the reason why I couldn't catch him or catch her. Oh, you the one. So you're the one who came up with this master plan on where y'all should go and what y'all should do and what time y'all should do it. You did all this. So I got to come see you. You got to get these hands too. You got to get this smoke, you know? So when someone cheats, a lot of times it's a team thing. It's not just an individual thing. Two people are trying to make it work, especially if you're having an affair. Two people are making it work. And you can't sit here and say, I didn't know they would cheat. I didn't know they were married. I didn't know this and that. Now all of a sudden, you don't know how to do nothing. You knew. You knew. So, yeah, that happens a lot. You don't hear it a lot. You don't hear it talked about a lot. I want to bring it up. You don't hear it talked about a lot because a lot of women don't want to be seen in that light. Even though you know you the side chick or have been the side chick or you know a side chick, you ought to know that they're helping someone do it because you know that you've driven your friend to another man's house before. You knew he was married. You knew that your friend was sleeping with a married man and you still gave her a ride to his house. It happens. Guys do it too. And you still help him get to her house or get to the restaurant or do whatever the case. You know, he might have used your car just so he won't be caught in his own car. It's plenty of games that people play. So we're not going to act ignorant like we don't know what's going on. But most times, cheating is a team sport. It's a team effort. But let's keep it moving. I think that happiness is I think happy men do cheat because just because he's happy don't mean he's content. Like happiness isn't contentment.
I agree.
And I think that people look at contentment as complacency and it's not. So, you know, you can be content in a situation and be happy and peaceful.
The problem with that is like happiness also with accomplishments, right? You might feel like that woman was an accomplishment. You're happy. Like,
well, men are driven by accomplishments.
Yeah.
And then but then you gotta also realize happiness is so iffy though. Like happiness is just an emotion now, and you gotta realize when you sit around going through the emotions, you could have been happy 10 minutes later and not be happy. So it's like, but based it off of something like happiness, it's like, no, that shit kind of up in the air.
And my whole thing is like, that question is like for a woman, for a woman, is like for her ears. Because a man ain't really be an emotional cheater.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A woman be an emotional cheater because she worrying about was you happy.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about your happiness at all.
Yeah.
You think
about my own happiness.
Now, here's where I kind of disagree. I mean, of course, there's the narrative that men can just cheat and have sex without emotion. That is a false narrative because it happens to a lot of men. Men can be mad. They can be frustrated. They can be hurt. They can be sad. They can be jealous. They can be depressed. Men cheat with emotion all the time. Now, is he invested into it? He might not be invested into it. But at the time, he was very emotional. He didn't know who to go to. This is the person I'm with right now. I'm having sex out of emotion. But when it comes to even happiness, like happiness, you know, is subjective for one. Happiness can be momentarily, like even what KJ was saying, it can be for right now. But it's kind of like with contentment. When you're content, you're not chasing anything. So it's like I saw something that talked about the law of, or the reverse law of effort or something like that, right? Or the law of reverse effort, excuse me. I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that. I'm trying to get to it. Where the more you chase something, it kind of alludes to the more you chase something, the more you reinforce that you lack something. So the more you try to find happiness, the more you're telling yourself that you're not happy. So a man can be happy. He can be happy in a moment. He can be happy with his accomplishments. He can be happy with, you know, how things are going in his life and still not be content with how life is. So because he's not content with how life is, then he looks for something else to bring satisfaction to it. And a lot of times, what some men do is look for other vices. And some of those other vices might be women. So can a happy man, and this is what the topic was, even when it came up to the video, can a happy man cheat? Yes. Does a man that's content cheat? Probably not. He don't need nothing else. He's good. He's good exactly the way he is. I mean, since we going there, since we want to piss everybody off,
Might as well
I'd
do it.
say another point that men may have the thought of, because I hear a lot of times they say, why did he cheat? She was doing everything right. She was doing everything right. She was making sure this, that, and the third, right? Like, why would you cheat on her? And the response is, she wasn't doing everything right. She was just doing everything she thought was right. And that's the truth. I mean, we don't want to hear it, but here's the reason why I said that. Because there's two factors to it. One is ego. And sometimes women come into a relationship, people come into a relationship, but in the context of what we're talking about, as far as men and women can come into a relationship thinking they know sometimes that they know what they're doing. All I got to do is this, and this, and make them happy. And sometimes that's not true. It depends on your man. It's all about communication at this point. And most people don't communicate. People don't talk about what they really need and what they really want and desire out of a relationship or out of another person. People don't really communicate that. But sometimes that ego will make her think that she's doing everything right when she's not doing anything right. Because she thinks that everything she's doing is what he wants when he might not want but half of it. And a part of it, the second part, is that he's not communicating it at all. Like, he's just letting her do what she's doing and not even telling her that she's doing it wrong, or telling her that he's not fulfilling her, or that she's not fulfilling him. Not saying nothing, probably because he's afraid to say it, because he's scared that as soon as he says something is wrong, because she did so much, as soon as he says something wrong, then he's going to lose everything. Like, she's not going to want to do nothing else now. So there's a miscommunication and a lack of communication of, hey, don't come in here thinking that everything you're doing is right and that you know what you're doing here, because you don't really even know me that much yet. Get to know what I want and what I like, and then go from there. And then on another side, he needs to let her know what he likes and what he wants, and go from there. But all of it, this entire live, and this entire video can pretty much be the basis of communication. People don't talk. Don't talk, don't listen, and don't understand. That's going to be another video, because people always talking about communication from a talking standpoint. They ain't say nothing to me. They ain't say this, they ain't do that. We not mind readers. It don't really matter, because if you don't know how to listen and comprehend what you're hearing, then it doesn't really matter if somebody talks to you or not. Communication is a two-way street. Actually, no, it's a four-way intersection. It's not a two-way street. You got 4 points when it comes to communication. There's more layers to communication. One person has to talk and listen. Another person has to talk and listen. It's all over the place. The Vogue, you know what I mean? But that's it for today, man. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what y'all think of everything. Thank y'all for watching, man. Thank y'all for listening. Go to the channel, go to the live, go to the video, check out the full episode. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Oh, and make sure you go check out my book. Make sure you go get the book. That's going to be in the link in the description box down below too. Get that. Finding a New You. And we're going to keep it moving. Peace out.